Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. Today we're on site at St. Patrick's Residence in one of their newly renovated rehab suites to learn all about their skilled nursing and rehabilitation facility. Sister Anthony, thanks for joining us. We have a lot of choices for short-term rehab. This is a growing industry. It comes on very fast when a family needs this type of help. Why should we choose St. Patrick's?
We are a non-for-profit facility, mission-based, and it's sponsored by the Carmelite Sisters for the Aged and Infirm, so we are different from any other facility. And being mission-based, one of our greatest assets is our chapel. And the residents who come to us, those who come to us for care, their faith is very important to them. We respect all religions, we provide for them. Most of our population here that we serve is Catholic. We have Mass daily. And it's wonderful for families. When we take in a resident, we take in their families. And if they've had a new baby in the family, they utilize our chapel for the baptisms so that the resident can be part of that celebration. Or if any of the short-term residents were to come in here and they had a wedding in the family and they weren't able to leave the facility, the wedding party has come in and had their pictures in our chapel. So our chapel is very, very important. We are also a facility that is totally supported by the Naperville area and the surrounding areas. And we have a wonderful volunteer base of about 250 volunteers who the majority have been former family members. So they know us from the inside out. So that makes us very different from a lot of facilities.
Now, well, that says a lot about the care given here when your volunteers have been a part of your full facilities. Tell me a little bit about, now you're walking into short-term rehab.
We're fortunate in that our founders, Venerable Mary Angeline Teresa, told us back when the community was founded to meet the needs of the time. And we were founded in 1929. And back then, it was a long-term care need. But now, individuals are being given more of an option, and people who are having need short-term care have the opportunity to come to a facility where they have a great rehab department, and that's what we have here, is a wonderful rehab department. And our length of stay is short. We are very competitive with that, and even our readmission rate to the hospital is almost nil, and that's what the hospitals like to see. So we can rub elbows with some of the great facilities in this area and provide the best of care.
Sister Anthony, we're sitting in one of your new suites.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, this room that you're in right now used to be a double room. But we realized that those coming to us for short-term rehab really need the privacy of just a single room, as all of our residents would like to have. So we have just converted this into a lovely suite with area here for the sleeping and care area. And then further down we have the sofa and a nightstand and a recliner. And so that's area for families to come in. You notice that we have mounted our TVs on the wall and just try to provide a kind of a home-like atmosphere for our residents.
Who's the population that you serve? You mentioned before that you serve all faiths.
We serve all faiths, and we also take individuals in that are 55 or older. And we have had individuals in their 50s coming in with perhaps knee replacements or hip replacements, and we've been able to successfully transition them home.
Is St. Patrick part of a larger organization?
We are. The Carmelite Sisters are serving in about 7 states, 18 locations, and one of those locations is in Dalkey, Ireland. We have about 160 sisters, but we, inspire our staff to buy into our mission. And our mission is to provide the home-like atmosphere, to reach out to those we care for in a Christ-like manner, so that we're giving His love, His compassion, His understanding, morning, noon, and night. And we're fortunate that we have a staff that really buys into that.
Well, you're seeing people at a critical time.
We certainly are. We certainly are.
And you're offering them a lot of support and hope and comfort. So.
And their families too.
Right, as you said before, you don't come alone.
No, and it's hard to move within a span of time of about, 10 days. Someone's had surgery, then they come to the facility, and then they're supposed to be in and out within 10 to 14 days. That's hard. That's hard.
Right, but I can tell from talking to you that you have a passion for it and
I
you have
do.
experience with it. So thanks for taking time to sit down.
Well, thank you for coming, Liz.
Joining me now is Marilyn Daly, Administrator for St. Patrick's Residence, and we're going to have a discussion on how to pick a facility for your loved one. So here at St. Patrick's, what are the two service lines that you serve?
We serve short-term rehabilitation patients. You know, when you may have fallen and broken your hip or knee, or you have a bout of heart failure and need a little tuning up and exercising to get better. We do that, and we also serve the long-term care community.
Oftentimes, whether it be short-term or long-term care comes upon us, families are needing to make some decisions with their loved one. How do you choose?
Yeah, that can be really tough for families because often when families have to make that decision, they're under tremendous stress. What I think is important for patients or people to know is that there's no one source or report that tells you everything you would want to know. But if you can do some research, you'll end up making a better decision for yourself or your loved one. There's a great initial source of information to use, and that is the government's Medicare website. Basically, that's a public website where all of the skilled facilities results are posted for viewing. And for short stay, we're measured on whether or not we delivered the appropriate vaccinations for flu and pneumonia on time. We also look for medications for new behaviors or problems with the skin that may have existed before or developed within the facility. So those are the kinds of things the government reports. But interestingly enough, there are other indicators that tell you about a short stay. One is, what is the length of stay? What's the average length of stay for what happened to me? So if you were coming in to recover from a knee replacement, you would want to ask, what is your average length of stay and how are your outcomes? Are patients doing well? Is the satisfaction up high? Do we have what is our readmission rate? So there's other things that you can ask that help you judge whether this is the fit for you. It's also helpful to understand how the organization is set up. So you might want to ask, you know, what is your mission? And I think that one question tells you a lot about the organization you're contemplating entering. Check, is it a for-profit or not-for-profit status? And is that meaningful to you? Does this organization embrace continuous improvement philosophy? Because you're never going to find the perfect facility. But what you want to know is, what's the facility doing to improve? But if you can tour the facility, see what it's like, talk to the staff, observe them while they're interacting with residents, and you can get a sense for what's the culture of this like, and does it fit me? In long-term care, there are other indicators also that you can look on the government website for. And again, it includes all those things I talked about. How do we manage pain, behaviors, infection rates, falls with major injury? So the long-term care piece takes a little bit of a different twist, but it looks at what are the indicators that say or tell us how does this organization do on this type of care.
When we're in this situation with mom and dad and trying to find the best place for them, there's some economic realities that we need to consider. Talk to me about how you help us get through that time period.
Well, speaking of stress, and you often have to make these decisions very quickly. And all of a sudden you're presented with, you know, the contract, and here's your application, and you have to pull together so much information, mostly about your financial status. Things are complicated, and people come in and ask us questions, and we try to be very well prepared to answer those questions. The other piece is that this is not going to slow down for us until we end up, and Medicare is after the providers, and I think appropriately so, to manage patients better. And by doing that, they expect good outcomes and lower cost, and that's what we're being held accountable to. It's actually, the phrase is called value-based purchasing, and we say, well, bring it on, because we believe in those things, you know, doing good and trying to be fiscally efficient. But that's a tough thing to talk to people about while they're in the middle of stress.
There's a lot of competition in Naperville. How do you handle all that?
The good news for patients is there's a lot of competition in the DuPage County area. That makes us all better. And all of us are good providers, really. And there's a lot of choice in this area. So that's the good news. And that's why I thought the biggest thing we could do today for the public, for the patients we serve, is to educate. How do you decide?
Well, I think you've done a great job with that. Thanks for taking some time and explaining what you do here, what St. Patrick's does here, and what they do for the community. We wish you great success.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Business Connection.